By all means wish at all times that you could bring the truth to the light of day through your words and by your efforts. But consider that you are unable to cut off the roots of the unbelievers of the truth if you deliver yourselves up to the outrage, torture acts of Gevalt, of your adversaries and suffer except death. So you can no longer stand up for the truth if you are once again afforded the opportunity to do so. Only consider bringing the truth to the light of day and destroy the wrong things if you will not suffer for doing so at the hands of the ones unknowing of the truth, the unfair ones, irresponsible ones, and non-righteous ones, conscienceless ones. Because they do not like to hear the truth, do not give them the opportunity to cajole, constrain you so that you cannot come to any harm if you stand up for the truth. Therefore it is always for you to decide whether you shall stand up openly, publicly, for the truth representing the truth, or whether you choose the path of silence. Therefore do not do the same as the belief-oriented ones who worship gods and tin gods and, in the self-opinionated attitude fanaticism of their belief assumptions, impatiently, fanatically, stand up for their devotion, believe, even as far as enduring an outrage, torture, on their body and as far as death. Truly, this is not in accordance with the knowledge of the truth, but merely with going astray in a fervent fanatical belief assumptions, that is settled far from all truth. And truly, only the truth gives you a fair right answer to these things, just as it is only the truth that stands by you in understanding with 1,000 pieces of advice. And it is only the truth as the joyful message of the laws and recommendations of the creation of all things creation, and your following of the same that are capable of creating true calm in yourselves, so that you may gradually comprehend, understand, the guidelines, instructions, of the teaching of the prophets and become knowing, conscious, and wise. And know that when sleep steals over you and you see pictures, dreams, then this is for your own safety, so that your inner world consciousness and your sub-inner world subconsciousness become aware, perceive, and use, process all unseen, unconscious things, with the effect that common understanding arises in you and you do not become deluded. And the pictures, dreams, in your sleep are as water rain that falls down on you from the clouds, so that you may be clean, liberated by it from maculations and processed things, in your inner world consciousness, and your sub-inner world subconsciousness, which process the things which you have noticed, perceived, unseen unconsciously, whereby you are strengthened and your step gets stronger. It is also revealed to you that you shall strengthen yourselves in the knowledge of the truth, so that you do not continuously fall into greed like the ones unknowing of the truth, but be righteous, conscientious, and fair, responsible to the ones unknowing of the truth, and do not beat them, either on the nape of their neck or on their head or body, and neither on their feet and toes or on the tips of their fingers, because to do so is an outrage, torture, punishment, act of Gevalt, to the body and limb extremities, and it is also against all laws and recommendations of the creation of all things creation. And if the ones unknowing of the truth, the unfair ones, irresponsible ones, and non-righteous ones, conscienceless ones, offer defiance against the teaching of truth, the teaching of spirit, the teaching of life as is given as the teaching of the prophets through the laws and recommendations of the creation of all things creation, then be fair to them and teach them about the truth if they have a volition, desire. For this give your instruction in loving accuracy. Righteousness equals conscientiousness, but do not exact retribution if there is no compliance with the teaching of truth. Never punish people of your kind, fellow human beings, whether children or those who have come of age, grown up. Instead practice only punishment in equitableness, fairness, if it is necessary, although the body and life as well as the inner world consciousness and the psyche shall not be harmed. If you are openly, publicly, a tactic used, with words by ones unknowing of the truth, then turn your back on them, turn away from them, if you do not have the power and knowledge to counter the words of the attack. But if you are knowing, conscious, and wise, then do not turn your back on them, do not turn away from them, rather confront them with might and the good explanatory words, and teach, instruct them in the truth if they have sufficient fullness, greatness, to open their ears to your instruction. But turn your back on all attacks, advertisements, which are intended to drag you into a battle war, because every battle war is against all laws and recommendations of the creation of all things creation. But if you veer off into one or another battle war, then truly you are loading your own rage on yourselves by creating a shadow world hell in yourselves and your own nature, which will become your shelter and miserable determination decision. And if you slay, kill, murder people of your kind, human beings, then you are also slaying, killing, murdering the truth in yourselves, which slumbers in the depths of your inner nature, and which you only need to awaken in order to be fair, responsible, and righteous, conscientious. You cast dross onto your inner nature, and this casts it out with give out, by means of which you commit evil deeds and bring yourselves to a fall, and in doing so you mercilessly degenerate your high inner world consciousness. If you are looking for a decision for enmity, then the decision has truly already come to you, because it is given by the laws and recommendations of the creation of all things creation, so that you may recognize them, follow them, and distance yourselves, turn away from evil, the unfair, irresponsible, virtueless, non-righteous, conscienceless, and from enmity. If you do, however, turn towards enmity against people of your kind, fellow human beings, then they will also return to enmity, and truly your enmity will be of no use, produce nothing of goodness, no matter how numerous you may be. All of you who want to be knowing, conscious, in the laws and recommendations of the creation of all things creation, open your ears to the teaching of the prophets and listen to the words of the true prophets, and do not turn yourselves away from them, for as long as you hear them speaking. Do not be arrogant, vain, and do not assume, think fallaciously that you are listening to the words of the prophets when you are in fact not listening to them, and you do not understand, do not realize their words. Truly, the worst amongst people of your kind, human beings, are those who hear the truth but who conduct themselves in falseness, deviousness, like ones who are deaf and mute, and pretend that they do not hear the truth and could not speak about it because they do not understand, but want to live knowingly, consciously, as unfair ones, irresponsible ones, and non-righteous ones, conscienceless ones. And if there is still anything of goodness in them, then they suppress it because they prefer wealth rather than following the truth of the laws and recommendations of the creation of all things creation. Therefore they do not want to hear or to speak, because they turn away from the truth and unwillingness, aversion. Do rightfully in all things and learn everything about the truth that you can learn. Therefore listen to the true prophets when they call you with the teaching of truth, the teaching of spirit, the teaching of life, which is their teaching and is created from the laws and recommendations of the creation of all things creation, and learn the truth from the teaching of the prophets, so that you give yourselves true life, and know that you must gather all people of your kind, humankind, to the truth if you do not want to suffer your downfall, and one day want to depart, emigrate, into the firmament's universe, and onto the earth's worlds, planets. Beware yourselves of all tribulation which you can create from unintellect, dumbness, and unsugeous irrationality, and does not simply strike those amongst you who are inequitable, irresponsible, and non-righteous, conscienceless, and who do non-right, because it always strikes everyone, since you are totality, community, with all people of your kind, humankind. And always think that you can only be strong and not waver in fear if you stand together, so that nothing can sweep you away. You yourselves must shield yourselves from evil, from calamity, and from all terrible things, because it is only through you giving yourselves strength, and you giving yourselves help, and you providing yourselves with good things, and you being thankful, that you can bask in pleasure,